Hello, welcome to the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. To my right is a man by the name of Jerry Zoo. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Great, great. Jerry Zoo has been a longtime council member and vice mayor, so thank you for your service, Jerry. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for your service to our community, best friends.
Certainly. Let's go ahead and discuss one of the underrated ways to make money on PokeMMO. How to start up a service. And this video idea actually came up when Jerry and I were chatting in the game, and Jerry was asking me for a service, and I was like, oh, no thanks. And your conversation, Jerry, made me want to do this video. So viewers of this video, make sure you write Jerry some thank you letters. Alright, so before we jump into this topic, I must give you two disclaimers. Disclaimer number one is that this video is not a tutorial video. This video is just going to explain certain concepts. And disclaimer number two, this particular method may get into some unforeseen difficulties. If you don't trust the merchant or client, then it is advised to take screenshots of the in-game chat lines and the trade window itself so that you can report the scammer in the player reports on the PokeMMO forums. Make sure you create a forums account and you can go to the player reports. Jerry, would you like to give a little bit more detail on this particular disclaimer?
Yes, starting up services, you have to remember that these still are players that are providing these services for you, and scamming is a possibility, although not very likely, because scamming is against the rules and we do punish those who take advantage of others. It's still best to be safe and make sure you choose the right person, check the reviews on the guy, and I wish you well on that.
And also, as the merchant, if a client scams you by not paying for your service, then you can also take screenshots of that as well. So you can file a report as either a merchant or a client if you have been wronged. Does that sound right?
That is absolutely correct, Mr. Mayor.
Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into our topic about starting a service on PokeMMO, the lighter side of things. So you have to ask yourself this question, when you start up a service. What is the purpose of the service or services? What's your purpose? Do you plan on making money for the short term? Do you plan on growing your services and one day acquiring some pretty good clientele on PokeMMO? What is your goal when you start a service? I would like to give my testimonial because I was in your position back in 2014. I started an EV training service back in 2014 and I had some pretty good clientele. I know a lot of people on PokeMMO because of that service that I opened back in 2014. So if you want to start up a service to connect with people on PokeMMO, then that is a pretty good outlet. Before Hordes, this activity was a rigorous task, and now Horde training makes it much easier to EV train. My schedule is quite busy nowadays, so I do not want to EV train anyone's Pokemon. If you want someone to EV train your Pokemon, I'm not the guy to do it. But I did it because I wanted a quick buck. So make sure you know the purpose of your service before opening up that shop. What are the common services offered? EV training, which is a service I mentioned earlier, breeding, and leveling. I mentioned all three of these topics in previous self-help videos, and they're going to be linked down in the description below. So if you want to touch up on those three topics, feel free to. So I wanted to start up a service, but how do I advertise to a wider market? You can get more clientele if you make a post in the trade corner on the PokeMMO forums. You can make a post, but before you do, you have to read the trade corner rules. It is advised to look at the trade corner rules so that way you can be a good example for the community. As the mayor of PokeMMO, I would highly encourage you to read the trade corner rules to be an outstanding citizen of PokeMMO. Jerry, so would you advise people to read the trade corner rules before posting?
Yes. Please read the rules, and if you have any further questions, contact the Trade Corner moderators.
Yes. Either Baronator, Kudasai, or Lin Kusama. Oh, look!
What the heck? Hey, Redfons, what are you doing here?
Hey!
Oh, hi, Jerry. Nice to join you.
What's up, pal?
Nice. All right, Lin. Thank you very much for the breeding video.
No worries, happy to help.
Certainly, certainly. Lin, are you ready to talk about this topic about starting up a service on PokeMMO in 2019 as well?
Absolutely, can't wait.
How should I format my shop? We have 3 examples. We have Falco's Poke Training Service, and his shop is a basic shop design without a banner. Prices are in red, and something that sticks out to me here is EV training at very competitive prices, which sticks out to me as a consumer. And Jerry, I know that you use EV training services quite a bit. Can you give some pointers on people who want to open up an EV training shop?
When I used an EV training service, I was basically trying to look for someone to go and do a little bit of extra work. And I found that catchy titles really catch my attention. Fancy looking markets, they're nice too. And I was just looking around, and I think it's a really good idea for you to take your time when making this and really think it over on how you want to attract somebody to your shop.
Yeah, attract somebody's attention to your shop. Alright, and we do have 2 other format examples here. So, Terran's Daycare EV and Leveling Service. And I noticed one word, open! Exclamation point in all caps. This catches my attention, and I say, man, this guy is open for service. This guy is ready. I even seen epic banners. So I know that this guy is really dedicated to his service, Terran's Daycare, and he gives a medium amount of shop design with a banner. So there's the banner here, and he even gives you a format to copy and paste, and he gives you prices, and he gives you quite a bit of some detail on his services. He gives you quite a bit of some detail about his services and how to contact
Perfect. Yes, and that alone makes it much easier for you to know just what exactly you want people without having to, go back and forth and mail the person or this or that. Just makes it nice and simple.
Or you don't have to make a fancy banner. You can make a banner like this. Funky's Budget Breeding Service. You can make a basic banner, and when I see this banner, I see eggs everywhere, and I see an old guy who exchanges the breeders, and I see braces, so I think immediately of breeding. I also see pretty epic comps. So Caesar is a pretty epic comp. Togekiss is a pretty epic comp, especially with Serene Grace. Swampert is an epic comp. All these comps are epic. So I noticed with this guy's comp selection, he put up some pretty epic comps, and he put himself there. So I can see the picture of him opening up a shop. It is visual, and it really does connect with you. Another thing that sticks out to me here is the title of his forums post. Funky's Budget Breeding Service. Not a lot of people are wealthy enough to pay for high-priced breeds. So if you put the name budget in there, then it attracts a lot of clientele. In real life, there's a store called Dollar General. And Dollar General, that name attracts a lot of people because people think, oh, well, everything's $1. So let's go ahead and connect this back to you. You could put in your title, Bob Schmo's Discount EV Training Breeding Service. That is going to attract a lot of clientele. You can put up a basic banner. You can just take an image from Google Images and put it on there. You don't have to put elaborate formatting like Terran did, but you can give the basic details like this. For example, he does 2 3x31 and 2 3x25 plus natured, or 2x31 and 2 320X plus nature. This guy gives you the rates and a few basic details on his service. Lynn, I know that you made a video with me about breeding on PokeMMO. Can you elaborate for anyone that wants to start up a breeding service, what to expect?
So the first thing you want to do before you start a breeding is you want to ensure that A, you're confident with breeding. You want to make sure you understand how the breeding mechanics work. You should be able to confidently do your own breeds before you start to consider doing breeds for other people. You should be familiar with all kinds of egg moves and also be familiar with more advanced breeding techniques such as chain breeding egg moves. As you'll see that a lot of people who choose to use breeding services tend to choose them for reasons that they don't want to do the service themselves. For example, they may find chain breeding egg moves complicated, so they're willing to pay for you, whoever's running the service, to do it for them. That's why services. So once you're confident with being able to run your own breeding service and you have the required knowledge and skill to do so, what you then want to do is then you want to be able to work out how much it's going to cost you to do a certain breed before you put your prices up. You don't want to put your prices too low and then you realize you're going to start making a loss, because then it kind of ruins the purpose of you trying to make an income for services. On the other hand, if you put prices too steep, then no one is going to want to use your service and they're going to look elsewhere. When it comes to breeding services, it's highly recommended that perhaps you don't try to do, or you can, a lot of people don't choose to do 5x31 breeding, mainly due to its high cost and the extremely difficulty and in the high prices of 1x31 breeders. You'll see such as example in Funky Kong shops, he chooses to do cheap breeds only with cheaper IVs that are still competitively viable.
He tells you ways to contact him, which is definitely a plus, because if I'm interested in his service, I can mail him in game with details. And usually he likes to be prepaid, and he mentions that in his service, so he likes to be prepaid in the mail before he makes your breed. Don't forget to tell him the egg moves or a special request for a Pokeball or gender inside the mail for those details. So you may be intimidated by starting up a service because you may think that starting up a service is quite complicated. It is actually quite easy to start up an EV training or a leveling service. All you need is a level 100 Pokemon with multi-area moves. So for example, Nino King with the moves Earthquake and Surf, and a Pokemon that can learn the move Sweet Scent, which is Oddish. And you are ready to open shop. That's really all you need. Level up the Nino King or whatever Pokemon you want to have with those multi-area moves. Level up that Pokemon to level 100 and you're in business. That's all you need to start up your EV training or leveling service. It's really that easy. And some closing thoughts here.
No one wants to wait a whole 3 months just to get something bred in EV. So that's the case. Make sure you give a certain time span. You let people know how long it normally takes with your shop, and be sure to always have some type of disclaimer on certain things if there's exceptions and things that go on. You always know with people. When you work with people, there are always like little exceptions, little things that happen. Be sure you talk about that.
Right. And to Terran Shop, for example, he has 2 disclaimers. He only works on Pokemon with all 0x6 EV slots. I do not take away or redistribute. And note, I do EV train Pokemon over level 50. And leveling, I only level Pokemon to 50. So those are his disclaimers. And as for the scamming, if we go back to Funky's budget breeding service, there are some testimonials down here. So, for example, Aran put in a pretty good testimonial. In fact, I'm going to like it on forums here. Very fast and trustworthy breeding service. Also, probably one of the cheapest services you can find. Would highly recommend. Also, you don't have to take his word for it. You could take Zymogen's word for it. Brilliant service. Bred 2 Mons within 8 hours. Highly recommend this man to anyone, and I will be using his service again. You liking this? Another testimonial by Blarg Warg. Fast breeder, great prices, need I say more? you look for a service or when you start up a service, make sure that you look for good testimonials. That is key. Once the service is complete, it would be recommended if you could tell your customers to provide feedback on the forums so that way other people can be informed about your service.
Oh, before anything, the last couple things I wanted to say would be to once again inform you to please read the trade rules before doing any of this, just to make sure you have everything done properly. As for the formatting, you can take examples from other shops that were mentioned here, and maybe you can ask for someone else's opinion on what they think about it. I'd be happy to, look into the shop too if you really need someone to basically give you an advice here. When it comes to formatting, do it at your pace, at however you're gonna go and ask somebody. Remember, it's your shop. You're gonna be the one running it. Don't get overwhelmed by the amount of requests. Do not be afraid to tell people it's gonna take a while, or I'm getting too many requests. Please stop sending me. Just communicate. That's gonna be the key to this whole arrangement you're gonna have here.
Just like to say to those who are thinking of making their first service is that it's a really good idea, as has been done in this video, to look at the existing examples in the Trade Corner section. It gives you an idea of the formatting, the layout, the kind of things that people request, expect, and do for their customers. And if you ever have any questions about the topics, it's always something that you can speak to any staff member about. Trade Corner moderators specifically can be very helpful when it comes towards starting your first service, or you can consult us in the comment section of the video below and we'd be happy to help.
One last thing I'd want to push in there, make sure to hard fix your prices. It is a serious offense to scam. It'd be unfair to promise somebody a certain thing and then change it later. You don't want to have any problems. If you do, make sure everything is done right and then go ahead and move on.
It's always recommended to take screenshots of your activity, so you can take screenshots of the chat between you and the player agreeing what the deal is. You can take screenshots of the transfer of the Pokemon to confirm you were given the Pokemon to the trainer. These kind of things can help staff immensely if they ever need to investigate if things go wrong.
Yes, please be sure you also know what you're doing when it comes to breeding services, and if properly EVing something, be sure you know what you are doing. You do not want to waste more money to fix something you messed up. So that's my advice if you're really planning on opening up a service.
If breeding is complicated, then you can always do leveling and EV training. Like I said, the resources to start up this service is really... You can even use your story mode starter if your starter can learn Earthquake or Surf or any multi-area moves like Nino King, as I mentioned earlier, or Sweet Scent Pokemon like Oddish with Sweet Scent, and you're in business. It's been so nice doing this self-help video. First video of 2019, guys. Wow, first self-help video. How do you guys feel? This is the very first self-help video for 2019.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been looking forward to, and I expect more in the future. Help with the community. I hope you continue to strive with your works here.
Certainly.
Yeah, it definitely is a great way to start off the Mayor Best Friend YouTube channel. Looking to seeing more great self-help videos on the channel and helping as many players in the community as possible to further enhance their love and enjoyment of the game.
Hey, that's what I was elected for, guys. That's what I was elected for. Jerry, thank you so much for being one of my original council members. You've been sticking with it through and through, and I appreciate that.
Oh, no, I'm just happy to help your best friends.
And Lynn, thank you so much for working on this. I know you're going to be working on this video later, so I would like to thank you. But thank you so much, Lynn, for taking the time out of your day to work on this video. I want to thank you in person.
Thank you, best friend. I'm very happy and honored to be a part of your mayoral council.
Certainly, and we're definitely honored to have both of you in my council. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. This is the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And Jerry vanished. And he came back. Anyways, this is the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel signing off. PokeMMO Mayor at your service.